Hello, everybody. Let's just get the brain fart out of the way from the very start. We're going to have a great show here with no glitches, hopefully. Hi, folks. I'm John Zidar. This is On Top and Hot, the live version, where we like to talk about hot penny stocks. But this time, we're going to talk about the ones that you've brought me. And I've done some due diligence on a few of them that you brought me already. And hopefully, we'll have time to look at some others that I didn't have time to look at. We got a bunch of them down here. I see my gang is here. I love it. I love it. Velmore, the underdog, Kashera, Stock Wizard. Well, yeah, I'm here. Of course, I'm here. We got Mark Ryan in the field. Who else we got in there? I saw a couple new names. Dino, we stopped just before you. Kashera's was the last ticker we got, CTTH. Doesn't mean we won't get to it, but that's where the line got drawn. But still, bring in those hot tickers, folks. Share them amongst each other. Even if I don't look at them, you guys get to see them. Saw a new name down here. Where was that? Mr. RK. Mr. RK, you got yourself a few tickers there. Glad to see that. Don't know if we'll get to them. Fingers crossed. Mark's coming in. Glad to have you here. He was trading over there at Penny Boys with me today. What a wild day, folks. And we're going to be taking a look at some of the stocks that we were playing over there today. It was incredible. We had some very strong runners. And some of the biggest runners we didn't even notice. But Velmore did. Warrants. When a company is running hot, go see if there's a warrant for the company. If the company goes up 100% that day, the warrant's going to go up a lot more than that. And they're cheap. You can make some real strong gains on. So, hello, Phil. I do see you there, buddy. All right. We've got some tickers to take a look at. I've got the tickers all lined up, and I'm making sure I've got all my buttons here. All right. First thing we do is switch you over, give you a convulsion, bring you over to here. Now, I do believe it is one stock that came to me yesterday. I've had 2 or 3 requests come to me through Twitter and Google, I think it was, YouTube. But guess they didn't realize we're only looking at stocks under $5. One was $62 and the other one was, well, John Rodriguez's real, that was 60. And there was another one that was at 28. Sorry, we're not going to look at them. It's nothing personal. It's all about price. It was T. Rick, my comrade. I talked to him quite a lot over at Twitter. He does a lot of chart hunting, but he finds a lot of interesting information on everything. And right now, he's over in Europe. He's just running around over there having himself a good time, supposed to be back here soon. I'm missing you, buddy. Get your butt back here. So T. Rick wants to take a look at HAD-V, Health Advance Inc. I've never heard of it. Got some bullets here. This is to remind me what to look at. And in case I forget to look at it, at least you were made aware of it. Okay. So we have multiple alliances with this company, and they say we're not going to dive into a lot of this news. We don't have time for all of that. But inside one of them, they said there's no need for a merger. All these alliances are a lot less complicated. We don't have any of the situations that arise with mergers, and it's working for us. So they're going to stick with their alliances. Twitter, they say that they keep up with keeping their investors up to date on Twitter. And I look, they have lots of posts over there. So that's a good place to keep up with them. And I did go through their filings. There was nothing to look there, so we're not going to go there. We'll save some time. So HAD-V, this is a company out of Canada, finished today at 0006 and was down 14% today. She is on the bottom tier of the OTC, the pink, the riskiest tier because there's no validated information down here. If you think of the OTC as a neighborhood, the pinks would be the ghetto. The QB, which is the middle tier, would be your middle class. This is where you have to start giving us audited financials. This is when your price has to be above a penny. Then you have your best tier, the QX, which is where your rich people live. This is where you've got a lot of big stocks like EasyJet, Heineken, a Nintendo, Nike, and they're all there because they can't get on the major exchange because they've got no corporate offices in America. And you can't get onto the major exchange if you don't have offices in America. So that's as high as you can get. You get all the information you would normally get on the major exchange, but you're on the OTC. We're on the floor in the ghetto. You get no validated information here except these two ticks, and that's only if you're on this site, the OTC Markets. This is one of their jobs. The OTC Markets is a company on the OTC. You can invest in them if you want. This is their business right here, taking care of all the stocks on the market. And that's why I use this site. They cover every single stock. There's not one that they miss. Now, they don't have all the information, but it's a great place to start. They have told us they have a verified profile and a verified transfer agent on this company, which is the only validated information you're going to get. So I'm always looking for those if I'm going to get into a pink. So what is this company about? Well, let's see what I've got here. Health Advance is focused on products that are oriented to health and wellness, which can include food. A variety of joint venture concepts have been explored. As of May 30th last year, several alliances have been entered into to develop business potential. HADV uses its X account to provide fair disclosures about these as their circumstances evolve. As I said, it's a good place to keep up with information between news presses. So what information did I find over here? Oh, you're going to tell me I lost all my highlights. You bloody little dog here. All right. So we've got a lot of goodies here. We have deals, we have alliances, we have contracts. There's lots of good stuff here, and I remember most of it. We're going back all the way. Oh, we don't need to go back that far. All right, let's start from the top. My highlights are gone. Profitable new cannabis accelerator combines social equity with merit at Health Advance Inc. and So Equity. They made a deal with So Equity Corporation down here. They've got a CBD wine. Looks like they're still carrying that all the way back from 2022. They also, let's see here. Where was that other deal? Cannabis Partnership launches So Equity website. I hate when I lose my highlights because that's what reminds me of everything I was looking at. So you can see the only news we've got is from right here, basically, actually right here. Working with the candidate incentive, they got with So Equity, and the two of them are working together. Now, I don't have any details here, but we can see that they have got something going on. I've got another piece of information where I've probably lost all my bloody highlights. Oh, you. All right. What are we looking at here? We're looking at filings. I don't know why we're looking at the filings. This page probably shouldn't even be up. This is at 13. It goes all the way back in July, but I'm kind of curious. This is an investment from another party who became a partner. They bought 10% of the company. This is JP Carey Ltd Partners, but that was quite a while ago. So I don't see anything else here that is really bouncing around. So we would need to dive into this news to see what's going on. Let's see what the relative volume was around this company. Oh, God, really dropped today by more than 50%, going from 8.6 million as a daily average over the last 30 days down to 3.3 million today. Share structure for HADV, got a lot of shares. Each shares they can put on the market. That's the shares they own. Well, they got 473 million of them on the market already. There's not a lot there left. So if they wanted to make any deals with these companies and involve shares as part of the payment, they'd have a hard time doing that. So they may possibly have a filing come out asking to increase their authorized share count. Hopefully they do that and not a reverse stock split. I wouldn't worry about a reverse stock split here at this point in time. We have been seeing them happen when the stock runs for 3 to 4 days, it's getting attention, and the stock is approaching a penny. That's when we normally see reverse stock splits happen, but they can't do them unless they've been approved by the shareholders. We have to approve these. So there had to have been a shareholder meeting within the last 12 months, and it had to have been approved. So if you're going to get into a company that's closing in on a penny, has been running for a few days, go to Google. It's a lot easier. Just put in the ticker, the company name, and put in split or consolidation. If there is any filings or any news out there, it'll come up and you'll know that they voted on it. So there is a likelihood it could happen. We see it happen a lot, folks. That's the best I can tell you to do there. Taking a look at the financials. They got any cash? No. Nothing here recently on the yearly. Nothing here on the quarterly. Nothing in the bank. T-Rick, why are we looking at this, dude? We've got 500 a $500,000 in total assets. A little more than that in liabilities, 572,000. We are holding 71,000 in stockholder deficit. So we don't have any revenues, we don't have any profit, we don't have any equity. I'm not quite sure why we're looking at this company. Disclosures, we have already gone there. So let's go see what this chart looks like. Maybe there's something in the chart because I didn't see anything here. All right, let me see. Is my volume on? Yeah, I think my volume's on. You guys would be screaming at me if it wasn't. All right, let me close all this up. I've been doing a lot of busy over here. So let us bring in HAD V. HAD V. Let's make our chart a little bigger here. Let's get rid of our level 2. And let's wind the clock back to a year. Please. Thank you. Right here. All right. Oh, serious downtrend for the last year. When we were over the 200, the only time in the last year, we were at 0073. She came back under the 200 and has been in a downtrend the entire time. We hit a low here of 0004. That happened at the middle of December. We got up onto the 50. We've dipped under the 50 and we've come back up on top. Now, we are actually in what you could call an atypical breakout here. You got your 200-day MA falling, the price is sitting on the 50, and your 200 haul is underneath climbing. That is an atypical breakout. And I have seen some huge jumps, but normally when I'm looking at an atypical breakout, it's on a 4-hour chart or down. I normally don't think of them as being really hot and ready to jump on a 1-year chart, but it is sitting there. We got lots of volume that came in, and our oscillators, everything is starting to climb right now. As a matter of fact, our ADX says that on the yearly chart, it's getting strong right now. The green line is on the top telling us that's the dominant trend, and the yellow line at the top says that trend is strong. If it was at the bottom, it would be weak. So everything is very strong right now on the yearly chart. Jumping on down to the, let's just go straight down to the 1-hour chart. A lot of sideways action, right? Pretty much exactly where she was 20 days ago is where she's at now. She's been hanging around that 200, over top, underneath. Right now, she is kind of falling underneath, bouncing off of the 20. I can't really tell what's going on. There's too much sideways activity here. She's probably just doing this ebb and flow right now. You can see that down here on our ADX. Had a crossover, another crossover coming. Let's just take a quick glance at our 5-day, 15-minute. Wow, talk about flat. She was super flat here at 0005, jumped, got onto the 50. We've caught some momentum there. She's riding her 9. She hit the high, pulled back onto the 9, which is brilliant. Fell, broke her 20, has hit the 50 with a wick, not the solid bar. You hit it with a solid bar, you watch for the next one to go underneath. But if you hit it with a wick, that's more or less a pogo stick. Boink, you're bouncing. So we got a bounce going on right now. We just can't tell if it's going to go anywhere because there's just no strength on the chart. All right, best we can say for HADV. Just a quick glance over here just to see what you folks are milling about. Me has shown up. Hello, Me. Good to see you here. Hit the like, please. I like the like button. Not as much as I like the super stickers, but I like the like button. Hit. All right. It's kind of quiet over here. Let's jump back on into some tickers then. We're going to look at ACONW. I'm going to start on ACON. That is the company's stock, but ACONW is the warrant for ACON. ACON was a hot stock today, folks. We were playing it over there at Penny Boys for sure. Acon did a reverse stock split today, a 1 in 335. Strange number, by all means. Kicked the price up from something like 4 cents to $8, somewhere in that region. And then she more than doubled herself, going to, well, heck, she crested $20. She hit $20 and then she fell back. Warrants. All right. Where are we at right now? Acon. I think I got that right on Acon. Let me take a quick look at the chart here, folks. Follow with me. I've looked at so many charts today, and we had so many that were very, very hot. Yes, I'm right. She was down here. She had a reverse stock split that took her up, was a successful reverse stock split. She ran all the way up to $20.84, and now she is back down to these strong MAs. So I got my facts right on the stock. I had to check because I'm surprised she was negative after being up that bloody high. So they had a reverse stock split. Look at the warrant. The last time I looked at the warrant, it was up over 500%. Okay, she's down to 173%. Now, the funny thing here is when I looked at the charts, the company stock was at 4 cents yesterday afternoon, right? The warrant was at 3 cents yesterday afternoon. All right, let me back up here. Let me explain what a warrant is real quick and briefly. Warrants are stocks that you can trade like any other stock. So whatever else I say, don't let it confuse you. Warrants are associated with a company stock. They sell them to people who are interested in buying shares cheap 3 to 5 years down the road. It's like a coupon. So when the stock goes up, the value of the warrant goes up. And when the stock goes up a little, the warrant goes up a lot. And the warrants are cheap. The warrants are normally penny stocks down at these levels. So you can get in at a penny, 2 cents. You can buy 1,000 shares for $10, $20, $30. And when it moves a penny, you're going to make $10 for every 1,000 shares you own. So if you had 10,000 shares, you would make $100 for every penny it moves. Well, some of these stocks these warrants are doing 500%. They're going from 2 cents to 10 cents. Would you believe 2 cents to 30 cents to 60 cents? The money that can be made on warrants is simply incredible, but timing is crucial because there's no liquidity. Until the stock gets hot, there's normally nothing going on with the warrant. It may even start dribbling down. You'll see a big spread between the ask and the bid. You may get in at 2 cents and you'll see the ask is 10 cents and you go, nobody's going to pay that. How's it ever going to come down? Well, somebody will buy 20 shares at 10 cents, not caring. It's only $2. Who cares? Well, it just went up 500%. Wow. But wait a minute. You don't have a 500% gain yet because the ask and the bid did not close up. Nothing changed. The price moved and that's it. It takes 2 or 3 new bids to get it to move. But once it starts moving, once volume starts coming in, it moves really, really fast. So ACONW, she is the warrant. She was up high. She's at 173% gains right now at 8 cents. You can see right there, she went up over a nickel. So I know she was at 3 cents. Now, my point about that was the stock was at 4 cents. The warrant was at 3. That ain't normal, folks. Warrants are normally about 8 to 10% of the stock's price. If the stock is $1, the warrant should be around 8 to 10 cents. It's not a golden rule. It's just basic. It can be a lot more. It can be a lot less. But to have 3 cents and 4 cents, that's just freaking ridiculous. I just saw one the other day. The stock is up at $27 and the warrant's at 2 cents. Yeah, it looks real tempting, but there's a reason it's spread that far and won't close up. So I'm not touching it. So we are looking at stocks. Me particularly, I do have 5 different warrants I'm invested in now where I am looking for stocks between $2 and $4 that could get hot. These are the stocks running 100, 200, 300%. And when they run, the warrants go nuts. So I've got 4 or 5 different warrants on stocks that are between $2 and $4 that I believe have potential to run. I've got anywhere from 4,000 to 10,000 shares on the warrants, no more than $200 invested on any of them. None of them. And that is the most. I'm not buying more than 10,000 because when you go to sell them, you may not be able to sell them all because of liquidity. And again, folks, sell when the price is rising. Don't get greedy. Sell half when it hits 100% and then start playing. Get your money back and then start playing. I know you didn't invest a lot, but it's still your hard-earned money. Now, the strange thing is about warrants is you don't know how many there are. I mean, you could jump into the financials and figure it out, but it's not like they come over here and tell you. So you really don't have any float, outstanding share count, none of that to concern yourself with. All you're worried about is the stock hot? Is it moving? If it's moving, the warrant's going to be moving. Now, why did Acon move today? Was there any news? I know they did a reverse stock split, and it was successful. A lot of these reverse stock splits, as soon as they happen, the stock falls. All the investors that lost all their shares get really upset and sell at a loss. And then it hits a floor when all those sellers get out and the buyers start coming in. And that's when it starts to run. We didn't have that. That did not happen, which is very unique, very rare. So it was good to see that. Doom News announces closing a $14 million public offering. So over the last couple of days, they've been selling a lot of shares, $14 million worth, considering that, well, that's not the stock. The stock was at 4 cents. 4 cents when they did $14 million worth of shares. So how many more shares did they put on the market? A lot. And then right behind that public offering, they did a reverse stock split. 1 in 335. Took all those shares right back. Strange games these companies are playing. All right, so let's go take a look at some charts now. We're going to start with, well, we got Acon up. You can see what Acon did. That's a 15-minute chart. Look at how flat she was, folks. This is when she was selling shares at 4 cents, $14 million worth of shares. That's called consolidation. There's a lot of little green bars and little red bars in there. People are buying and selling back and forth, just accumulating shares. Boom, reverse stock split. She did fall back, bounced back up. Well, actually, she didn't fall back. That's not true. I am using Heiken Ashi bars, folks. Heiken Ashi bars are not like your bars. If I was to bring up a candle, let's see where that, all right, so we get a gap. That's why I like Heiken Ashis. You see that big gap. She jumped from 4 all the way up to here with that split, but I can't see it. All I see is a little line right there. She did pull back. She pulled back to $7.97 when she had jumped up to, it looks like, closer to $9. $9, and she pulled back, and then she went sideways and took off. Now, I'm going to bring back my Heiken Ashis. The strange thing about Heiken Ashis, folks, is that every bar starts in the middle of the previous bar. I know. I didn't realize that when I started using them, but I've got so accustomed to using them now that I'm just very used to it. But I will jump back to regular candles because those are the candle patterns. When you see candle patterns, most of them are on candles. They do have Heiken Ashi patterns, but those are totally different than candle patterns. So let's take a look at that warrant now. All I got to do is add a W. So let's go back. Let's just look at a year. So we've got a high here. I don't know why it's not. Well, our high is actually today at, wow, that puppy hit 24 cents today. I had no clue it got that freaking high. Prior to today, she had reached a high of 14 cents. She hit a low of a penny. Warrants can only go down to a penny. That's their floor. Now, that doesn't mean it can't go under a penny. If it goes under a penny, it's in hot water. If it stays under a penny for too long, the major exchange can actually say your warrants are worthless and just take them off the market. And if you're invested in them, your money's gone. Nobody gives that back to you. It is gone. So yeah, there is a floor for warrants. 1 penny is it. She hit that floor there, bounced back up, and then took off. Now let's just come all the way down to the 1-minute chart. Looks like our day starts right there. Yep. So we were at 2.7 cents before today. She started the day with no change. It wasn't until about 11 o'clock she started to run. She was here at 3.6 cents and ran all the way up to 24 cents, folks. My God. You're looking at 1,200% run right there. And when she came down, she only came down to the 9-day SMA. She is still way up here at 12 cents. Even if you got in at 3 cents, you're still looking at 400% gain right there. She's climbing on her 20-day. You can see right here, everything is crested. It's right at the top. The baseball is thrown in the air, calls, you know it's coming down. There's no guesswork. Stop hoping. As soon as you see the line start to roll, it takes time for them to come back up. You rarely see a 90-degree angle and it just bounces. So this is coming down. This is when you should have sold. This is your opportunity before you start losing money. But even after she was all done, wow, she is right back to where she started. Exactly. Right there. She's come right back home. So yeah, these aren't long holds, folks, unless you want to cash in on warrants. A warrant, it could be, say the stock is at 90 cents. And when the stock hits $1, the warrant goes live and you can start using them. And it says you can buy a share for $1.25 anytime in the next 3 to 5 years. Well, right now isn't a real good time because it's $1. But in 3 years from now, the stock could be $20, $50. Who the heck knows? And you can buy a share for $1.25. No ifs, ands, or buts. No changing the rules. That's it. Now, if they do a reverse stock split, yes, that changes the warrant and it changes it drastically. So they just did a reverse stock split. I don't know how it affected the warrant, but that's basically how warrants work. And if you've got 1,000 warrants, that's how Warren Buffett makes millions and millions of dollars. Whenever he invests a lot of money in the front door, he wants to make money in the back door too, because he knows his investment is going to help that company. So he gets a whole bunch of warrants, and in the end, he then buys shares for cheap. Now understand, every time a warrant is exercised, a new share is given life to. So if they exercise 1 million warrants, there's 1 million new shares in the float. So every time you see that news, we've exercised so many warrants, all of those just went into the float. So you were diluted when those warrants were exercised for shareholder value. Okie dokie, enough about that. Let me see who be visiting me over here. Oh, there's big old paragraph. It seems most start with the default of 1150, but if they split, it goes way up. All right. You're talking about SPACs. SPACs are companies that come onto the market looking to secure a place on the market, a ticker, but they've got no money because they've got no business. They've got no revenues. They're looking to make a deal, a merger with a private company or a company on a lower exchange who wants to uplist. They sell their shares speculatively at $10 a share. The shares are worth $10 the entire time the SPAC is on the market until they close the deal. So when news comes out, nobody bids on the stock because it's only worth $10. Now, you can bid it. You can push it up to 11 or pull it down to 9. But in 18 to 24 months, if the company does not close the deal, check this out. There's a money back guarantee. The SPAC returns all the money to you for all those shares you bought if they failed to do that. You get $10 a share. So if you happen to buy it on a good day when it was at $9, you're going to get $10 a share, even if they fail. My point is, though, nobody bids on the stock when the SPAC has news. They bid on the warrants. And that's when I got into warrants because the stock wasn't getting the attention. So by default, the warrant was. And there was some huge runners down there, folks. We're talking multiple thousands of %. So I had lots of fun with them. And yes, 1150 is the price on a lot of the warrants to activate them. And I don't know how it changed now. It's got to be something silly and dumb because when you do a reverse stock split, everything goes up in price. So I bet the warrants are even worse now. Who else is over here? Adrian Davis. Hello, Adrian. Lays and WiseKey. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those companies are always popping. AI, quantum computing. I know DeepSeek is still a concern, but it doesn't seem to be hurting us at this very moment. So some of these companies are getting a reprieve right now and getting able to jump. All right, back to another ticker. Time is a ticking away here. It's 4:30. What have I got next? We are looking at Lakeside Holdings Limited, ticker LSH. I've never heard of this company. Who brought this one to me? The Underdog. So the bullets I've got for LSH from my previous due diligence, we've got new deals, acquisitions, contracts, a very low float, growing revenues, and no filings to concern ourselves with. So this is an American company out of Illinois. Finished today at $2.14 and was down just about 1% today. This is a penny stock on the NASDAQ where all transactions are free, where you get to trade pre-market and aftermarket. You don't get to do that with OTC. There's a lot more money and a lot more volume on the major exchange. So if you're looking for good trades, penny stocks on the major exchange are better than the OTC. And there's a lot more rules on the major exchange, which is just good for us. It keeps our investments safe because it keeps the companies honest. So what is LSH about? Well, they tell us here that Lakeside Holdings Limited, through its subsidiaries, provides integrated cross-border supply chain solutions in the United States, China, South Korea, and internationally. It offers freight solutions using cross-border air freight, cross-border freight consolidation, forwarding services, customs clearance services, warehousing, distribution services, and U.S. domestic ground transportation. So what information? I do remember diving over to their website. They work in all aspects of logistics and freight handling in those areas that we were discussing. So that's the sort of work that they're into. We're not going to dive too much more into that. All right, as you can see, I got everything highlighted. Let me take a look before it disappears. Watch this. It's going to be gone, right? Oh, I am so upset. All right. So down here, we've got news only going back to November 11th of last year. All of this news is there. The company acquired Hupon Pharmaceutical, entering the medical logistics sector. Lakeside strengthens market position in China's pharmaceutical logistics with key Sinopharm contracts. Lakeside enters into a $1.5 million sales deal with Sinopharm Hubei. Lakeside partners with Huai Pharmaceuticals to revolutionize cancer drug distribution. And Lakeside secures new distribution agreements with Keelan Pharmaceuticals. Seems to me their freight is moving around a lot of drugs. That seems to be the only thing we see going on here. What else did I find for this company? Bloody hell, where are all my highlights? What's the point? I said we didn't have to look at the filings, so there was no need to come here. So we've got lots of news. We've got lots of deals. They seem to have a lot of pharmaceutical companies that they're working with. They all seem to be from China, if you didn't take notice of that. Let's see what sort of relative volume LSH had today. Ooh, she dropped more than 50% on the major exchange. Bad enough, she was doing under 250,000 shares a day as an average over the last 30 days, and today she only did 111,000 shares. Jiminy. Share structure for LSH. Well, there is good news. We've got ourselves a low float, even though I don't know what it is. Outstanding share count is 7.5 million. Anything under 10 million is a low float, so we're definitely under 10 million. Depending on what the insiders own, it could be a lot lower. But in any case, it's a great float. Market cap for the company, we're currently at 16 million. Financials, I'm expecting to see some. I am, and they're growing. 2022, we were at 9.6 million. Remember, we got 3 zeros. We got to add to any of the numbers on these charts. She jumped about 33% up to 12.5 million the next year, then jumped 50% in 2024 to 18.3 million. And her profits are growing right along with her. Quarterly reports. Well, we've only got Septembers of each year. I don't know why the others are missing. And they're real close. Each are near $4 million. And the profit fell year over year a little bit. Balance sheet for the company. Bringing those 3 zeros over here. Cash and cash equivalents. Let's think of that as the bank. We got about 2.7 million in the bank. Total assets, we're closing in on 11 million. Total liabilities, just over 7 million. So we are holding positive stockholder equity of 3.6 million. So we've got a little bit of money. We've got some profit. We've got some stockholder equity. Everything's in the black here. Not looking bad. We don't need to look at the disclosures. So we've got deals with pharmaceutical companies in China, and they're moving it around for them. A lot of deals here, actually. Let's take a look at the chart for LSH. Kicking her back to a year. Dun, 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 dun. I know everything is slow today. I don't know why. Whoa. Now, I'm going to presume, I'm going to go back 2 years. This is on June 28th, 2024. Yeah, that's when they came on the market. Um, was this the company that did the reverse merger? No, that's another company. This company came onto the market June 28th. She started at about, let me see, you come on at the top and you fall, right? Right. Yeah, you come on at the top. So she came on here. She came on at $5, hit a high of $5.37, and immediately started to crash. Boom. That day she fell down to $4, so she dropped $1 and then continued to plummet for the next 30 days, hitting a low here of 228. In this region, she just kept bouncing. Boing, 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 all the way until right here, changed her step, hit a low. Now, I normally would have been looking for a bounce here. When I see something just going sideways, and that really is sideways, it's big bounces, though. I look for a bounce back. It didn't do it. Now, it may take its time since it's a yearly chart. We hit a low of $1.78, and she is underneath that support, underneath all of her MAs, trying to get on top. All of our oscillators are a bit weak right now. Everything is just ranging, going sideways. Jumping down to our 6 hour, same picture there, right? Same exact picture. You can just see more bars. Looking at our 1 hour. So there's where we had a pop and a drop from one extreme to the other, which is real common. Like I said, when you see a stock doing nothing really, and then you see something extreme happen, look for a ricochet, look for the same thing to happen on the other end. So she jumped here from that 200 at 260 up to 350 and then fell down to $1.78 and did not recover. Stayed underneath that support. Right now, she is setting up for an atypical breakout. We need some volume. We've got our 200 MA falling at the top. We've got our 200 Hall climbing on the bottom. That's a 200 squeeze like toothpaste. We got to get that price right here on top of that yellow 50, and she should pop. But we need some volume to make all that happen. So she's closing in on a setup, but we're not there yet. And I don't think we're going to see any difference on the 5-day, 15-minute. It's like the same thing. 200, except this time the 200's climbing. Our 200 Hall is falling. Our price is falling away from the 50. So this is like breaking a atypical setup apart. It's just smashing it right now. On the short term, this hasn't got a whole lot of promise to me. I see our oscillators are crunching up right now, pushing down. But on the long chart, she is setting up. So if you've got this stock in your holdings, I wouldn't be giving up on her. Right now, she's very cool, but given a little volume, things could change on this real abruptly. But I would take my gains. It doesn't look like she does a lot very often. So when she does it, take it, because it could be a long time before she does it again. Let's go take a look at another stock. Jumping on into, a hot stock. Yeah. This is ticker AMOD, Alpha Modus Holdings. This is a real interesting company. I have never heard of it. We traded this today over at Penny Boys. This was brought to me by Mark Ryan. He's over at Penny Boys Discord every single day. He has come so far in such a little amount of time. He helps others find trades to make money. He's really good at it. And he's brought us a really good ticker, AMOD. It is a new concept in business. I really had to do more research on this one than any of the other stocks. I didn't understand what their business was. I mean, I had the concept, but what is it you're doing? How are you implementing this? It was difficult. Now, I'm not real sure I've got it down pat, but I think I know enough to explain it to you. Volume was insane today. We've got a low outstanding share count. And I want to look at page 19 on their deck, which is a digital brochure. I just wanted to remember that. So AMOD, Alpha Modus Holdings. She is an American company based out of North Carolina. Finished today at $3.14. She was up over 100%. This is a hot penny stock on the NASDAQ. They say she's a shell company. Now, let's see if I got the news up here first. No, I don't. Let me see where my news is. No, it's all the way at the end. It is. And it's going to be not highlighted. Doggone it. This company did a reverse merger with a SPAC. They got involved with a SPAC right here, December 13th. Alpha Modus and Insight Acquisition Corp closed business combination, and Alpha Modus will begin trading under the ticker AMOD on the 16th of December. That's when this company came on. So when we look at the chart, we're probably going to see a $10 line, and maybe it went up a little or down a little. Normally, just before the closing, it climbs up just a little. And if this is like most, I have not looked at the chart, cross my heart. Like most, as soon as the deal closes, bam, the stock drops bad, and then it starts to climb back. So that's when they had their closing. Alpha Modus appoints accomplished executive Thomas Galler as chief revenue officer. They're still building up their management team here. They work with retail innovation. Now let's talk about this, not the SPAC merger. The first thing I did was to go over to their website. I thought that would make it very easy. Not really. Alpha Modus engages in creating, developing, and licensing data-driven technologies to enhance consumers' in-store digital experience at the point of sale, at the point of making a decision. It's great to have an advertisement on TV or on the radio for your product, but that's not the best time. I'm not in the store, right? And more to the point, I'm not looking at your product. What if you could give me an advertisement when I was looking at your product on the shelf in the store? Is that possible? Yes. With AI and the equipment that we have, it is possible. If you don't mind being surveyed, that's what they've got to do. This is what I have gotten by reading all that I have read here. By identifying consumer behavior and product interaction in real time, businesses can curate tailored marketing solutions that cater to the specific and immediate needs of a shopper at the key moment they ponder whether or not to make a purchase. Through MAC address tracking, they have a patented MAC address. Let's see if I got the list here. These are all their patents. I actually went through and read each one, hoping they would explain what the heck they're doing. And that's where I got my information. Each one of these tells about a device and what that device is intended to do. Well, they have a patented MAC address, which attaches to you, not your device. It attaches to you so they can follow you and they can get information on you. And they say they have ways of getting information while you're in your home, while you're in your car, while you're in the store. I don't know how they're doing all that. And then they're going to target you when you're in the store. How? User eye tracking, object identification of goods on shelves. They're going to have devices that are looking at your eyeballs, looking at your pupils, knowing what you are looking at. They're going to have cameras somewhere watching you in the aisles. What item did you just pick up? How long did you look at it? Are you interested? Then all of a sudden, on your phone or at the end of the aisle is a place you can get a coupon to buy that item now, while you were looking at it, while you were holding it in your hands. Folks, this is amazing if you don't mind being surveyed. I don't know if you voluntarily jump into it or if it just happens. I'm not quite sure. I jumped into their deck. A deck is a brochure. It breaks down all their information in easy to understand terms for investors. And they've got some information. It's not as much as I thought it would be, but they've got some key points here I want to share with you. One of them is their patent. 571 patent relates to a method for monitoring and analyzing consumer behavior in real time, particularly within retail environments. It utilizes various information monitoring devices to collect data about consumers, enhancing their shopping experience. We're watching you. That's what I'm talking about. The 571 patent describes and claims specific method that involves using information monitoring devices like video image devices to gather data about shoppers. And then I wanted to go all the way down here to page 19. That's 14. Where are we at here? There. Alpha Modus files patent infringement action against the Kroger company on January 16th. As I said, they've got lots of patents, but that is not the only patent infringement case that they've got on the books. Alpha Modus files patent infringement lawsuit against Brookshire Grocery Company. And see, there's another one up here. Where is it? I'm looking. Alpha Modus files patent infringement lawsuit against Wakefern Food Corporation and Shelf 9 LLC. So whatever it is they're doing, their devices, I'm sure other companies are trying to copy and mimic it. And we're not going to let you do that. So what they're doing is obviously something that people want to copy. What other news we got down here? Alpha Modus and Cash XAI Inc. strengthen collaboration from licensing agreement to strategic partnership. Inside Acquisition Corp stockholders approve the extension, blah, blah, blah. They've already closed that deal. Alpha Modus secures 9th AI patent, strengthening leadership in retail innovation. And that's basically all the news we got here. Now, there was a piece of news here. I haven't looked at the chart, but it's the CEO talking about the volatility in the chart. Now, from what I was reading, he was talking about the chart falling hard. And he says, I don't think the people understand what we do. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't understand what you do. And I'm trying to figure it out. Tell us in easy language. Give us some pictures. Show us. So let's go take a look at that chart after we look at the rest of the information. I like charting more than anything else. Holy cow. God bless, folks. Look at this. We got 3 extra zeros added on to our daily average here. She was doing 120,000 shares, way under the radar on the NASDAQ. And today, she did over 100 times that. 126 million shares. Holy Toledo. Our share structure for the company is excellent. Outstanding share count is only 5.6 million. I don't know what the insiders own, but you know they own something. Of course they do. So subtract that, and that's going to give us our float. We're going to have a super duper low float, folks, here. So when things start to jump, it's going to be good. We're going to have a great float to take advantage. Presuming where the chart's at. I have no clue. I'm really eager to see. Market cap, we're at 8.6 million right now. Financials. I spent a lot of time on this. I don't know if the company is in business. They say Shell, but I thought the Shell company was probably for the SPAC because they don't have a business. They're always a Shell company. This company just came on. Well, have they been in business? Have they been making money? So I went in looking through all their filings. Problem is, there's a lot of filings over here, as there is when you have a merger. And I don't know which one to look at. Now, the 10Q would normally have it, but this 10Q is from September. They filed it in November. Well, they didn't do the merger until December. So I'm not quite sure where the financials would be. Now, I did dive over into Yahoo to see if they had any financials. They did have some numbers on the books, and they said it was in the thousands. So I had to add 3 zeros, but it didn't make sense. It said 447 point, and then it had 4 numbers after it. It's like, what the heck are there 4 numbers after the point for? So I'm not real sure if they're making money right now or not. So as I said, they've got lots of filings. If you want to do some due diligence, wow, there's a lot there to be done. So let's go take a look now at this chart. You'd think I'd remember it, right? I've been looking at this thing all day. We were playing this. Everybody was talking about this over and over and over again. So let's go back just so you can see what this looked like when she was a SPAC. I'm going to go back 4 hours. There you go. We've got a line right there, and the price is actually it's up. It's up right now at about $11. And let's see what happened just before. she started getting some activity here. Wow, there must have been some filings, some information to let them know something was about ready to happen. And it didn't close yet. It didn't close until the 13th. So anybody who bought in here was getting a real good deal. So it did exactly what I thought, folks. She took a pop, big excitement, came on at about $11, $12, hit $21, and then fell abruptly from $21 all the way down here to $2. Folks, that's 1,000% to get back up. That's more than 1,000%. That was 1,000% down. I don't know what that is back up. That's huge. And as you can see, she just went sideways on this support from a Fibonacci I drew in there. Now I can get rid of all this temporarily just so you can see what we're looking at here. Yep. Someone remind me to hit my Control Z. I'll get all that back. So she came down hard, down to the 255 range, crossed all of her strong MAs. Right there, she started having some excitement, short-lived, fell down to our 200 haul, which is falling. Right here, it's starting to cup up. 200 MA is falling. This 200 is climbing. Price is underneath the 9. You can't climb until you're on top of the 9. So before we can do anything, this has to get on top of the 9. Then our next mission is to get on top of that 50. Then we're in an atypical breakout. Then she has a possibility of running. Now, let me put those back up. Those lines right there are for getting in. If we look at this, let me get a little closer. Hold on. All right. So right there, we are down here at, wow, $1.53. And here's our 50. I want this to get up on top of the 50. I see that get on top of the 50. Right here is where I'm going to put in my order. Not down here. I want to get in over top of a speed bump. I want to get over where the price is going to want to start to climb. Here she could bump her head and come right back down. So I want to get past that and over it just a little. And then I'm going to get out underneath the next one. Now, if it's running strong, no one says you have to sell everything, but you should sell something, folks, because you never know when it's going to abruptly stop and come back down. And you know it falls faster than it climbs. So get used to selling something at each target. Each one of these lines is where she could stop and turn around. So sell something, 25%, 25% of what you have left, 25% of what you have left, something. Don't let a payday go by without taking some money, folks. Oh, you're not going to take those down? Bummer. There you go. Fantastic. So let's jump on down to our 1 hour. See, we had a breakout there, folks. You can see our 200 was falling hard and furious. It went flat in this zone. She thought about breaking out, changed her mind, came back down, hit this low bubble, and right here we had a perfect set up for an atypical breakout. 200 on top, 200 haul on the bottom with the price. It was actually under the 50, But look, as soon as that 200 changed colors, minus purple when it's falling, turns blue when it turns up. When did the price ignite? When the 200 haul changed? Boom, big jump. Folks, if you haven't got the 200 haul on your chart, go put it on your chart. It is as strong and has as much authority as the 200-day MA, but it relates to the price. It's like a 200-day EMA, and it helps the price to move, as you can see, over and over and over again. I show this to you. So we had a big jump here from $1.52 all the way up to $5.54. You gotta love an atypical breakout. She came back down to her 9-day, hit that a few times. The big bar was getting closer and closer. The big bar, solid bar, is going underneath. Now we start to worry. Chances are she's going to keep coming down right now. I'm not going to be surprised by that. But we had a lot of volume come in today. So when she comes back down, that's when the buyers will say, yeah, there's value in this. Buyers, good buyers, are not going to buy on a red bar. This is red bars. Until they have confirmation that it's changed direction, nobody's coming in. So wait for this to come down, get a couple green bars, and get in with everybody else. And then you can all ride together. Let's take a look at our 5-day, 5-minute. Huge rip in the morning, folks. When was it over? That was 9:40 in the morning. It was done. She started here at 8 in the morning, which is good because on Schwab, you can't start trading until 7 in the morning, even though the market opens up at 4. So 8 in the morning, she was off and running. She came up very fast, went sideways, and at the bell, she jumped again. That's another surprise, folks. I would have expected a dip because people here would have saw the gains and said, oh, I want to get those gains, and brought it right back down to here. I don't know why it jumped. Took off hard and furious. But people took gains then, and they took their gains all day. And right now, she is closing in on that 200 with all these other MAs on top of her. She's underneath everything. So this is a waterfall. Lots of them. Pushing down on her. Chances of her bouncing on this 200 are slim without her hanging on. So she's going to have to grab it and go sideways for a long time, letting all those MAs come down and turn around. When they come up underneath her, they'll start to push her up. So right now, I'm expecting this to come down hard. It's going to take some time for her to come around. I don't think she'll break through the 200 and fall, but she's going to need time to readjust all these MAs. Oscillators, well, they show half of them are going, actually, they're all going down. Everything is falling. Woo! Look at our RSI. We're in the basement. We're down there at, we're below 30. Yep. So she is going to be a buy. I think this is a stock you're going to want to consider, but I think she needs a lot more due diligence. I think more attention needs to be paid to this company, but she's doing something I don't think any other company is doing right now, which is always a good thing. What are we at? We are at 457. Let me pop my head back in here. See what you guys are up to. Mr. Porterhouse. Hey, dude. Good to have you stopping in. Porterhouse is over at Penny Boys. He's one of our coaches. God, can that guy trade? I'm glad to see you here, dude. We have also got Tegan Rothenberger. What's up, Wiz? Yeah, I am a man. I don't know about the man, but I'll take your compliment. Thank you, my pal. Adrian Davis, look at all your comments. You're just keeping it going. I like that. Mark Ryan talking about Lay's. Yeah, Kit. We haven't looked at Kit in a while. All right. I am sorry I don't have time to talk to you folks, but you ain't here to talk to me. You're here to look at stocks. So let's take a look at another stock. This is the last one I have any due diligence set up for. This is CTTH. This comes to me by way of Kashera. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Oh, and the other thing I want to say is thank you very much. Did you notice there wasn't one biotech in any of the stocks we looked at today? God, I love it, folks. Honestly, I love it. I appreciate it. This company is on the cusp of biotech. They're not a biotech, but they deal with biotechs. No problem. They have a patented wafer for drug oral delivery. Put your drug in this wafer, put it on your tongue, and it just dissolves. Ta-da! You took your medication, just that easy. They are uplisting to the QB. They have applied for a $15 million grant, and there are lots of forms by their CEO, who has made a lot of purchases here in the last few months. CTT Pharmaceutical Holdings is a company based out of Florida. Finished today just about 13 cents. Was down just a little bit, about 0.39%. My voice is going hoarse. I was thinking about that. All right, this is on the bottom tier of the OTC. It's a pink, so we're not going to get a whole lot of validated information. Now, one thing a pink can do, they can volunteer to use 10Ks and 10Qs. They can actually have audited financials, put all the information out there. They can voluntarily become transparent if they want to. So whenever we see that, that's something I put in a big green tick box for that company. We do have their verified profile transfer agent, and they say they're a shell risk. Shell risk is completely different than a shell company. A shell company means they're waiting for a deal, a merger, an acquisition. They're not doing anything yet, just waiting for a business to come along. Shell risk means we're in business. We're doing something, but we're not reporting any revenues. That's never a good sign. I don't know if that's the case here. So what is this company about? CTTH's principal asset is a unique novel patented drug delivery technology, an orally administered, fast dissolving, thin film. This technology platform will target both the human and pet markets for treatment of many diseases. The company believes that its technology will be one of the first to gain use in many major markets such as pain management. The oral thin film formulation is protected by patents in the US, Canada, Europe, and many other countries around the world. Now, this is interesting because I don't recognize that ticker, and I have looked at other companies that have dissolving films. I know there are more of them out there. So this isn't the only company that has it. And if they've got patents, then there could be a patent war. I'm sure the other companies have patents. Now, maybe if it's made with different ingredients, it's completely different. You could make dissolvable wafer thin things out of different ingredients. So, but they're not the only company out there. Just want to let you know that. What did I find for this company? Minus my highlights, I'm sure. Okie dokie. All right. I've gone back to June of 2024. And I do this because the news that just came out here recently coincides with it. CTT Pharma gives update on NSF grant for smoke reduction technology. They're using their wafer thin technology with nicotine. Instead of using gum or pills or sprays, they're just using it on that. And they tell us up here that CTT Pharma and Johns Hopkins University submits proposal for a $15 million NIH grant for the smoking cessation wafer. So they got that going on. The company signs the contract for an audit. They say they just completed their 2-year audit. If you're going to uplist, you have to have 2 years worth of full auditing done. They have completed it. That tells us they're serious about uplisting. They want to go to the QB. The QB, you have to be a minimum of 1 cent. You have to have your financials audited, and you start filing. Arr, get back here. Get back. Let me see. Whoa. Go to the news. Thank you very much. Right there, they tell us they are planning on uplisting. Let's see if they have a date here. I don't know. What the blazes is that? All right, so we're going to a PDF here to get this information. Looking for a date for the uplisting. January 22nd is when the news came out. No. But they are serious about it. That's the important thing to take recognition here about. They have actually done their audit. They are going to be going up to the QB. Let's take a look at their disclosures. What have they got down here? All right, they're still using disclosures, which means they're just tabulating up their expenses, giving us those tallies, and we got to figure out what they're worth. Now they're going to have audited financials. Now look at all these Form 4s. Look at them. Now, the earliest one is in November. They go back. All of them. All of them, folks, are from the CEO, and they're all purchases. Some of them are for 27,000 shares. Some are for 540 shares. Just different numbers. I don't know if he's going to the casino and coming back and spending his winnings on shares or not. But he has been investing in this company for a very long time, consistently. So if that means anything to you, and it should. So let us see what we have here for, well, we got nothing else to look at, do we? No. Did we check out the financials? No, we didn't. Financials, we've got nothing here annually. We've got nothing quarterly. We've got no money coming in for this wafer. So whatever deals they've got going with anybody, it isn't making them any money yet. They made $4,000 in June of this year. Don't know what that was for. Balance sheet, it's a little curious now. They've got no money in the bank. They have no current assets. They have no long-term assets. Nothing, folks. Not one thing. How can you not? Their patents should be assets. They should have something here. Total liabilities, $15,000. Folks, you can't even have a car for $15,000. So I don't know what this company has. It sounds like an empty building, an empty shell to me. They've got an idea, they got a concept, they say they're doing something with it. We see no money moving. You don't do business without money moving. Behind the scenes or in front, we got nothing happening here. Let's see. What was the relative volume around the company today? Big drop. She dropped from 47,000 shares, which is even under the radar on the OTC, down to 1.4 thousand shares. I'll bet you that was one sale. I'm thinking that's all she did today. Share structure for the company. We got about 56 million outstanding. Insiders own a lot, 32 million. We have less than they do, 24 million. Not a bad float. Market cap, we're at about 7.2 million. So that basically covers the company. They say they're doing stuff. They say they got a $15 million grant coming in for this nicotine wafer. But what are they going to do with it? Have they got any contracts lined up? I mean, I just don't know. When I don't see money moving anywhere, I think BS. But they're uplisting. So I don't know what to think here, folks. I see positive movement, but I don't see positive financials anywhere. So I wouldn't even put this on my watch list right now, personally. Let's go take a look at the chart and see if it convinces me. A lot of charts I play simply because of the chart. Go back a year. CTT Pharmaceuticals. Well, she's been on a gentle climb. She's had bounces going from 3.5 cents up to 7 cents. I mean, you're talking over 100% there, right? 100% bounces. So you could have played this numerous times just to grab that sort of gain there. She finally broke here. What day was that? On the 16th, she decided to take off from 4.5 cents up to 15 cents. You're looking at 350% run. She's come back down just to her 9-day, and she has continued to climb, floating just above that 9-day MA. All of our other MAs are already over the 200, all of them pushing up. 20 has just gotten into the right place. Everything is looking good on the long chart. Lots of volume since the beginning of the month. Oscillators have all gotten strong. They're hanging on to their strength right now. I'm not going to say they're cooling off, but they're kind of cresting right now at the very top. Take a look at our 6-month 4-hour view. Looks like our 1-year view. I'm more interested in the oscillators than ranging. Everything is flat right now. It is all going sideways, and this is looking good, actually. She has had a lot of spikes through the 9-day with the solid bars all above the 9-day. She had opportunity to fall. She didn't take it. She was very close to the 20. She could have gone there. She didn't go. She is stuck on her 9-day, green bars, still on an incline. This is looking not bad. Oscillators, ranging. Everything is going sideways. 1-hour chart, going sideways up until the 17th, it looks like. That's when she took off from that 4 cents. Wow, in one day, she ripped there in 24 hours, hitting that high, coming down to the 20, riding that, dipped under the 20, and now she's curving back up, getting right up on top of that 20. Ooh. Okay, that explains it. You see our new 200 MA here? You see these dips? Got way down to the 50. I think it was pushing down to the 200. I tell you, oftentimes when the new MA comes onto the board, the price likes to gravitate towards it. It doesn't matter if it's above it or below it. And a lot of times it'll go right back to whatever it was doing. So this could have been dipping down to the 50, or it could have been a meet and greet for the 200. In either case, she's worked her way back up. All of our other MAs are climbing. Here's our 200 just starting to climb as well. That's all good. Oscillators. Warming up. Yes, it's not the biggest warm up, but they are warming up. Everything is just starting to tinge to the high side now. Take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. She's right on the cusp, folks. She's right there. She is pushing up to get on top of that 50 right there. She gets on top of the 50. We see bing, big bars, right? It's like an excitement party. Every time we get on the 50, it is something worthy of praising. So we are getting there right now. Oscillators, the one I'm interested in is that ADX. Our green line is pushing up. Our red line has just come down. It's a crossover. So our dominant trend on the chart is the uptrend, but it says it's getting weak. So we are still in a fight here. There's no green light. We're not taking off. She's just fighting to get into place, and she looks like she's winning it inch by inch. Best I can say for CTTH. For nothing. No money, no assets, 15,000 in liabilities. They've got nothing. Okay. That was not a hot stock. Oh, I left that up all that time. Sorry, folks. So what time is it? I do have time for some stocks. Mark, dude, I'm going to go buy me a 6-pack of pop. Can't even get a 6-pack of pop for $5 anymore. I appreciate it, though. They add up. I haven't spent a dime of the super stickers. They're just accumulating over there right now. Thanks, pal. So let me scroll up here. You guys had lots of tickers for me, and I don't want you to feel anything personal if I don't grab your ticker. Let me see what we've got going here. Mr. RK, Dino's. Dino's had STIM. We have VINC and HAO recently had reverse stock splits. That's something to be considering. Mr. RK also brought in ENV for a swing trade, if you can, please. Saying please. Mark Cypher. Well, you've already given me one, but folks, Cypher, go look at it. Mark finds good stocks, folks. IPA. We got that from Adriana with MGX. Oh, partnering. You know what? Okay. Adriana, I like partnerings. Partnerings is always very catalytic. So let's take a look at IPA with MGX. IGA, MBX, IGA. Somebody remind me. Oh, I forgot to put my lines back up. IPA. We'll look at that in MGX. IPA is immune. I grabbed a biotech. It's on my own fault. Immunoprecise antibodies. What are you doing? Get back. Can't fight the internet, can you? All right, forget all that. We'll just come over here and do it again. OTC, please. And we are looking at IPA. Is that what it was? Yes, it was. IPA Immunoprecise Bodies. The company, this is an American company based out of Texas, finished today at 45 cents, dropped about 1.5%. This is a penny stock on the NASDAQ, under $1. Always keep that in mind whenever you look at a major exchange stock. If it's under $1, they're in hot water. They can't stay under $1 for too long. If they do, they'll get a notice by the major exchange. You got to get your price up over $1. For 10 consecutive days, it has to close over $1. When they do that, they'll be out of hot water. But they're not in hot water. We are. If we don't bid that price up, they'll either have to do a reverse stock split and get the price up, or they just go down to the OTC. So who's really in hot water, right? So what is this company? Immunoprecise Antibodies operates in Victoria, BC, Canada, Utrecht and Oss, the Netherlands, and Fargo, North Dakota. IPA is a preeminent supplier. Get out of here. I don't know why my computer's acting up. You're just going to have to deal with it like I do, folks. IPA is a preeminent supplier of custom antibodies to the global research industry and industrial community. Our dedication to advancing antibody development has resulted in cutting-edge immunological innovations. They're working with cancer drugs. With over 25 years of experience in the custom antibody business, IPA provides high customer satisfaction through a customized professional approach. 25 years they've been around. Now let's take a quick look at, is it MGA? I think that's what it was. See if I get this right. I'm going to come over to my other computer just to make sure I've got this ticker right. Adrian, where are you at there? IPA, MGX. Good thing I looked, right? MGX is the company it is marketing with. MGX, Metagenome. Metagenome is another American company out of California, finished today at $2.85. It was up 8%. It's a hot penny stock on the major exchange. Let's see. Metagenome is a gene editing biotechnology company. They develop therapeutics for patients using metagenomics derived from genome editing toolbox in the United States. The company's genome editing toolbox includes programmable nucleases, base editors, and RNA and DNA mediated integrated systems. Why did I choose a biotech? So we've got somebody working with genomes, and then we've got the other company over there. Did I keep that up or did I take it down? I took it down. Why is this giving me a problem? Jiminy Pete's. All right, let's take a look at MGX's news. Maybe we've got that piece of news over here about this partnership. Dun, 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 dun. No. All right, so it was IPA. Let's see if IPA has that news. That's 2020. Due to immunoprecise antibodies announces completion of at-the-market equity offering and full conversion of Yorkville debentures. IPA pioneers AI-designed GLP therapies, a potential new chapter in diabetes. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Looking for that news. I don't see that news. All right. So what I'm going to do here, folks, I think I can do this with you. I think I can. Bear with me here. We're going to jump over here to my favorite news site. Not here. I got to do it this way. I'd have just kicked you off completely. All right, so we're coming over here to my favorite news site. This is Stock Titan. I'm putting in IPA here to see what we've got. As a matter of fact, if I go back, all the news was right there. Did you notice that? That's really nice. Mark Smeller's Capital Markets, Immunocompletion, at-market equity offering, new chapter in diabetes. Well, I definitely see a couple different companies here. How come I don't see MGX listed in here? I don't see MGX listed in here. The other company I see is MMI. I mean, they're listing it with their news. I don't know why they'd be doing that. I don't see IPA Capital Markets. IPA Capital. No, that's a IPA. That's a whole different thing here. So I am not able to find any news about this deal. Do you have a link that you can drop in the comment box? Yeah, the most recent piece of news is what they've got over there on the OTC about them taking care of some an offering and eliminating debt, which is good news, but I don't see anything about a deal here. Let me see if you've dropped anything over here. What's up with you, Wiz, man? No, that's not it. I'm looking for it. No insights here. Well, doggone it, folks. I don't know what's going on. IPA. Did she have a volume burst today? No. She dropped in volume. So I'm not quite sure if you've got your information right here, Adriana. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see anything between MGX and IPA. There's no news for either one of them. There was no news over there at Stock Titan. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to come back over here, have someone else's ticker. Nothing personal. I said that from the very beginning. How about we go up to Mr. RK? Mr. RK, you said Vince. Let's take a look at Vince. I have looked at Vince before. This will probably be the last stock we have time for. It's closing in on 5:30, and I'm getting hungry, and my voice is just barely hanging on. Vince Holdings. She is on the New York Stock Exchange, an American company based out of New York. Finished today at $3.53 and dropped 4.3% today. What is this company about? Well, we've got no description, so I'll jump over here into the news and jump into one of their descriptions. What the heck is going on? Can't seem to keep my pages open over here. God almighty. What ticker were we looking at? Oh, freak, Vince. VINC. Short-term brain fart. All right, we were going to get some news so we could learn what to... No, was that it? By golly, this computer is giving me a headache today, folks. I'm looking for that ticker. Yes, it's Vince. Another pharma. God, my luck sucks. I should let you guys just give me the tickers. All right, Visrex Pharma Inc. and Akari Inc. highlight promising data for Akari's TROP2 antibody drug conjugate, OQYO. God, quarterly report. I can't even say what that says. I hate biotechs with a passion. Files a $100 million mixed security. This isn't good, folks. This is a little bit of everything that they got going on the market. They're probably going to sell some warrants. They're going to sell some shares. And I can't read it. Can I? Oh, great. Visrex Pharma announces reverse stock split. Shares drop. They've also, what? You're going to do a offering when you have got shares going on the market? What is with people doing this? That, folks, that's just greedy. They're making money by putting shares on the market. Then they do a reverse stock split and they get all their shares back. And we end up having our shares go up. Say you pay 10 cents a share and they do a 1 in 100 reverse stock split. Your share that costs 10 cents, first off, they take 100 shares and give you 1 share for it. And now that share is worth $10. Your average price is $10 a share. So if the price falls from $10 down to $5, you are 50% down now. So I hate reverse stock splits, and I hate seeing them do a public offering just before. It's raping the shareholder. It really is. So Vince is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company. That means they're probably research and development, not making any money, not got any products. Clinical stage. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3. This takes years to get your drugs through all of these trials to see if it's safe, if it works, and if it's better than everybody else's. The company researches, develops therapies to address unmet medical needs for the treatment of cancer in the United States. Working with unmet medical needs means you've got no competition, which means the last trial, the longest trial, you can really cut short. You can get fast tracked, you can get orphan designation, which means the FDA is helping you get that drug on the market. Since there's nothing else out there for this disorder or whatever the problem is. So let's just start over here. What was the relative volume around the company? Wow. That's a big jump, though it's not a lot of shares. Got to remember, she's on the NASDAQ. She was only doing 13,000 shares a day as an average over an entire month. Today, she did just under 1 million, which is a huge jump compared to where she was, but it's still way under the radar on the major exchange. Vince, share structure. Now, have they already done their reverse stock split? We'll find this out. I'm going to presume they did. We have an outstanding share count now of 2.2 million. There's no way you're doing a reverse stock split with that. I don't know how many shares the insiders own, but you got to subtract that from the OS. That's going to give us our float, which is going to be even lower. So if the company sells 10 million shares in a day and there's 2 million shares in the float, that means every share had to sell 5 times over in one day. And not everybody's going to sell them. Some are holding them. So now we have a supply and demand issue. That's why low floats move fast. There's not enough shares to go around when a lot of people want them all at once. But at the same token, it falls fast, and it can fall really fast when there's not a lot of shares. Market cap for the company now after the reverse stock split, we're down to 3.4 million. Financials, they making any money? No, nothing on the annual, nothing on the quarterly. On the NASDAQ, not making any money. Looking at their balance sheet, we've got about 3 million in the bank, 15 million in assets, only 6 million in liabilities. So even though they haven't got any revenues, we're not holding a bag. We have stockholder equity of just over $9 million. And if you take those shares, right, take all those shares, 2.2 million, divide them in to that number right there, 9 million, that's going to give you 3 something, right? Well, that is an equity value price for the stock. There's a lot of ways to figure out the price. But when you've got no revenues, you've got nothing else going on, equity is all we're holding, 2.2 million shares into $9 million, $3. That's one concept. Take a look at the news now. Let's see if we have that reverse stock split talked about over here. We do. The reverse stock split was a 1 and 20. So there's 2.2 million shares there. Multiply that times 20. You're looking at 48 million shares, something like that they started off with. And they just did that on the 27th. Yes, the 27th, it was affected. Is there any other news we should be aware of over here? Take care of a whole bunch. Was it? No, that was the other one. That was the other one. Mixed securities. Hopefully they did this before they did the reverse stock split. No. They're going to do it afterwards. Shame, shame, shame. So they just took all the shares and now they're throwing them back on the market. The company is research and development. They need money all the time to keep studying, keep looking, keep paying for these trials. So they've got to keep selling shares. They're going to keep doing reverse stock splits, put them all out, throw them back in, throw them all out, because that's the nature of the beast with the research and development company. So let's go take a look now at the chart. I do like charts, but get the feeling this isn't going to be a fun chart. All right, let's make this big. Oh, you didn't get it. Let me VINC. Let's go back a year. This isn't looking good. What? Oh, reverse stock split. All right. Lesson time, folks. Used to be when I started trading, let's see if we can find the day here, 24th, 25th, 27th, right there. All right, there's the day they did the reverse stock split, folks. I'm going to put a mark on that so you can see that clearly. Right there. That's the 27th. When you have a reverse stock split, the way it always was for years and years while I was trading was a big green bar, bam, went up on the board because the price jumped 20 times. That's why they do a reverse stock split, to get the price up. So you get a big green bar here. There's our purple button telling us there was a reverse stock split. That green bar, everything on this side of the green bar, of course, is up. It's up 20 times. That's what the reverse stock split is. And back here, you have the way it was before. Well, they don't do that anymore. You don't get the big green bar. Rather than put that green bar on the chart, which they thought was obtrusive or something, they multiplied the entire chart. All of it. I don't care if this company's been here 20 years. They multiply the entire chart times that ratio, 20. So if you had a high of $1, you now have a high of $20. So this high bubble back here, which hit on March 12th, says it was $187. You've got to divide that by 20. Any company that's had a reverse stock split, you have to determine the ratio and then divide all of the numbers, every single price, by that ratio. So, we're looking here closer to $9, something like that. $9 would have been the high back here. She came down. She hit a spot here. I can't even tell you the prices. I got to do all that math. She bottomed out, folks. She hit hard. This fell on April 9th, 2024, all the way down, and she suckled down here. And she just kept falling, and then they had a reverse stock split to pull the price up. But as you can see, it's not really up all that high, is it? Just think of this as $9, folks. It's not $184 back there. Let's come on down to our 6-month, 4-hour view. Yeah, still the same thing going on here. She had a big fall. It took that long from that big fall for the 200 MA to catch up. This is now June 11th, 2024. But the price did not break out. Once it got close, it should have tried. It really didn't try. Waited a long time, almost a month before it jumped here. Then it fell back, jumped again. Fell underneath, jumped again. We got a high here. I don't know what the real high is because, well, $1. $1 divided by 20, $1.04, right? $1.04 was the high. Then we had another big drop, fall, pop, fall. The stock just looks like it's in a tumble, folks. I don't see any reason why anybody would want to be getting near this stock. The closer you get, the worse it looks. Now, something I want to say here, and I don't want to confuse you, but if you get a stock like, say, Mullen. Mullen has had 4 reverse stock splits, or is it 5 now? I've lost count. You have to compound the multiplying. We have a 20 here. Let's say they did a 10, a 20, and a 10 in the last 2 years. You'd have to multiply 10 times 20. That's 200. Then you got to divide the price by 200. You don't understand what I'm saying? Go look at Mullen's high. Take the price back 5 years. It's over $1 billion. On the charts, it says the high that day on Mullen was over $1 billion. I think it's $3 billion, actually. So, yeah, it's stupid. It's false information. It's fake news. It should not be there. New investors are going to come onto the market, not know the company did a reverse stock split, look back and say, oh my God, this company was at $184. I'm getting into this company. That's misleading. I don't think they should do it. Who do we complain to? I think we should get a petition, sign it, and send it in. I want to see my big green bars come back. Is that it? Nope. See, that bar is the 29th, so that don't count here. So everything is falling, folks. I see no hope here. Looking at all the oscillators, they're all falling too. No matter how close we get, it just gets worse and worse. Even when she gets over the 200, there's no hope. You don't break out over a falling 200. It does happen occasionally, like 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100, maybe. Not with this sort of stock. No way. So, no, I don't like Vince. She's had a reverse stock split. That's the nature of the beast. Whenever you look at an R&D, a company that's just doing research and development, that has no products, that is making no money, never has, don't think of it as an investment. Best you can do is try to get in front of a news press. Because when the news comes out, and they come out in the morning, I post news every morning, folks. Most of the news I post is for pharmaceutical companies from 7:20 to 9:30 in the morning. This is when the runs happen for those pharmaceutical companies. And then they come down and they fall. You rarely get these in the middle of the day. So you've got to be there ahead of the news. If not, don't think it's going to come back up after those pops. These pop on trials, and trials happen months, years apart. So you're going to be waiting a long time for another pop. And it's probably going to fall downhill in between pops. All right, folks. God, did we cover a lot of information? I know we didn't cover a lot of stocks, but did we cover a lot of information? Come on, we did. We covered warrants. We covered SPACs. We covered reverse stock splits. We covered how stinky my computer's acting. I appreciate your time, folks, and I appreciate you putting up with whatever I got to put up with. There's nothing I can do about that. If I was recording it, it does take me 4 hours to make a 30-minute recording because I try to make it all right, and I can't do that with a live one. So thanks for putting up with me. I appreciate you being here, folks. If I didn't get to your ticker, I'm sorry, but others were here. They were looking at it, and I appreciate you sharing it for their sake. And I appreciate you being here. I'm going to be here again next week, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll try to get my beep together so I don't make any mistakes. Between now and then, I'm going to be giving you some more videos. We'll talk about some hot stocks and some trading insights. Thanks, folks. We'll see you again. Remember, the more you know, that's right, Mark, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks. I know, home alone.